So thank you very much for everyone over the past two panels. We now move into this conversation where we look at why now is the right time to launch your business as the UAE enhances its position as the global business hub due to the improved ease of doing business, and more entrepreneurs are looking to start, grow and expand here. There are so many opportunities and advantages available. There's every reason to take the plunge and start your venture. Now, we do have to formally apologise. The CEO, Lorenzo Juris, was unfortunately able to be here today, but we are in the more than capable hands of the head of marketing at Creative Zone, Neha Thomas. A round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you.
Great to have you here.
Good to be here.
We've heard so much positivity, everything about investing in the UAE. We've heard about free zones. We've heard about all these opportunities. In your experience, with Creative Zone, why is right now a better time than ever to start a business in the UAE?
All right. In our previous discussions, I was just here, I was listening to the panel again. It's the same topic. People are coming here like left, right, center from across the globe right now. Now, if you ask me if today is the right time, I would say, even if you asked me this yesterday, I would say, yeah, yesterday was the right time, not today. If you ask me tomorrow, definitely yes. So there's no, I would say, pause to the UAE, economy when you see the growth, especially during the last 5 years. Forget about 2020 during the COVID season. I mean, we saw a dip, but apart from that, we saw like a steady increase in the GDP and the people coming in. I love these posts from Loving Dubai. They say, there's the billionaire expats are flying to the country. There's an influx in investments. We can see the maximum number of, real estate transactions happening in the country these days. So, and if you see, like the gentleman over here clearly mentioned, it's so much more easier to start a business right now. It's not like 10 years ago where, that's when people like us, consultants like us, were actually required because people had no clue. The free zones weren't structured as they are today. So right now, it's so easy. You can go directly to a free zone and get your trade license in what, like 24 hours, 12 hours, 2 hours, what? Like, you can just get it done. But again, the problem, not the problem, but the concern is getting the trade license is the easiest step. Now, what comes after that, there's a whole lot of compliance issues, your tax and accounting, your banking, your visa. So there's n number of things that you actually have to take care once your business is set up. But you can see there's so many incentives that the government is giving to the investors. There are a lot of angel investors. Even in my network itself, I have people, this is Dubai. People have a lot of money. They want to invest in upcoming, business ventures. So if they see like a positive or a good upcoming venture, they are ready to invest. So it's all about knowing or going to the right network. And that's where we kind of focus to Creative Zone. We want to create like an ecosystem, a community. So that's the most important thing because getting a trade license, good. What do you do after that? You have to build your network, build your connections, and there are immense possibilities in this country. And it's just about finding the right, the opportunity or the right group, the right network, and getting started from there.
And obviously, with Creative Zone, you're creating this, some would say, culture. I think. When you're working with a lot of new businesses, and we posed this to the last panel, you can sometimes tell in the first meeting whether someone's going to make it or someone's, they've got a right idea, but they just kind of haven't done, enough research or detail yet. Looking at those common themes, is there a mindset, is there an entrepreneurial way of thinking that you can just tell straight away? And what do you really think that is? Is it an attitude, a behavior?
Definitely. So we deal with questions like these every day. So we kind of speak to at least 100 people who are wanting to set up a business every day. So we have these instances where people come to us, okay, you want to set up a business? Yeah. You have the money? Yeah, everything. When do you want to set up? Today. Okay, brilliant. So what is your business activity? I don't know. Do you know? What do you think I should start? I was like, okay, well, clearly, it's not a joke. It is, these are some of the questions that we actually get. So people come to us, they have the money, they want to start a business, but they don't know what to start. But okay, at least the basics should be done. You should have like a proper structure or a business plan in place. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of investors out there. So if you have like at least a minimum viable product in place. I mean, you can pitch that idea to investors and you can straight away secure funding, That's what is required for you to grow as a company. So, yeah, I mean, it's the right attitude. Again, for entrepreneurship, you have to, I mean, it's not for the weak, entrepreneurship. We see a lot of businesses that's closing down within 1 year, 2 years. So you should have the grit, you should have the discipline, you should be committed. I mean, failures would come to you, but it's just a way of not giving up. Again, it's an everyday, I mean, as a startup, you are the owner. At times, we see startups with just one person, so it's like a one-man show. I am the CEO, I'm the finance director, I'm the marketing director, I'm the salesperson, so it's an all-in-one. So unless you have that, the grit to actually go through these huddles, go for it, I would say.
And sometimes it's harder to set up your own business. It can often be easier because you can be lazy and you can get away with things and cut corners that you wouldn't if you had to answer to a manager or a team. I think sometimes when people come forward and they want to set up their own business, it's often a bit scary if their idea is they don't have a problem they're solving or an idea that's going to help people. They just want to start a business and say they're a CEO is probably that first red flag that goes off in your head. But for people who maybe do have a great idea and they're too aware of what could go wrong, what is the biggest factor in holding people back from starting their own business?
See, people do, it is fear. I mean, there are a lot of what ifs. I mean, there's what if this doesn't happen? What if I don't generate the revenue that's required? What if I end up in debt? So there's a lot of what ifs when people come to start a business. So people are often scared. What if it becomes a failure? I started off all rosy and, announcing to the world, and what if it doesn't, kick off in the next 1 year? What if I don't make money? I mean, our bottom line is always making money. What if that money is not flowing in? I mean, it's easy to be an employee. I mean, every month and you get your salary credited to your account. I mean, no worries. You just have to, focus on what you do. But as an entrepreneur, there are 10,000 things. Again, when you're an entrepreneur, there are like compliance issues. Okay, I have a deadline to meet next week. Okay, if I don't, I'll have a penalty of, say, 80, 10,000. So there's a lot of things. So often there are things that holds you back. So you often get distracted with the other things than to actually generate the core of the business, the revenue. So people say, okay, it's too much of a headache for me. I'd rather stick to a 9 to 6 job than doing like a 24/7 job.
I do. Your CEO's not here. You didn't have to say 9 to 6.
Yeah.
You could have said 9 to 5.
Maybe?
Yeah, no, well, I mean,
5 days a week, no, 4 days a week?
everything's 24/7 nowadays, Neha. And I think that psychology certainly is a big factor because a lot of people have billion-dollar ideas and they never act on them at some point. We touched on the current trends in the last panel a little bit. In your time at Creative Zone, what are the current trends? Is it AI? Is it digital marketing, e-commerce? Where's it going to be in 5 years?
We saw a huge rise in AI, big data, blockchain, all of these. It's the hot topic right now. So people, we have like jurisdictions like the DIFC who's actually giving incentives, for startups across the world to come and register here for as low as like 500 USD. So it's not just them. All of the free zones are actually promoting, new technology. We again see growth in, sustainable businesses. So it's all about sustainability in the future. So there's the brand wants to, focus more on, giving back or, focusing more on sustainability. So there's a lot of, green projects coming into the picture right now. So we can see a lot of these upcoming, which we haven't seen, although during COVID we saw like 90% of our, business activities were e-commerce based. It's slightly coming like to a 50-50 right now.
Creative Zone has been a tremendous success zone when it comes down to free zones. I think it's at last count 75,000 entrepreneurs.
For 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing story, and it does reflect the story of the UAE. We heard from the keynote earlier on about there's so many great options for free zones there are right across the country. Neha, what do you think at Creative Zone? What is the biggest strength about working with Creative Zone right now?
So with Creative Zone, we've been in the market for the last 10 years plus. We started off as back in the days, it was difficult for people to get a trade license. So, our tagline itself was business setup simplified back then. But then we realized it's already simplified. There's no need, they don't need people like us to simplify it even further. So right now, our whole business, we restructured the whole brand and, the giving it a better vision and mission, So right now it's because business setup is just the beginning. So right now, that's where everything starts. And for us, we want to create an ecosystem or a network around where, the gentleman over there asked, once you get the trade license in probably say 2 hours, what do you do next, right? You need to get your visa sorted. You need to get you have to register for corporate tax. You have to get your office space sorted. You need your media marketing services. So we offer everything in one platform. So the aim of Creative Zone is to create that community, and it's always good to be part of events like these. You get to network, you get to speak to people. So the more you speak to people, you know what's going on in the world. So we have created something called the Startup Circle. So that's something, we keep launching these events and initiatives so that we have over 15,000 renewing clients with us. So we want to engage them. So we have to give that value add to them. So we organize these initiatives, events so that they can come, network, share business ideas. It's all about who you meet. We're all social beings, so is business, so are businesses. Businesses are social.
So it becomes an idea for someone who's starting up about, working with Creative Zone, you're tapping into this startup circle. And going back to the psychology, what's in your experience, have you noticed a difference when sometimes you've come here, your family's trying to readjust, everything's trying to work, or you can't find funding? How important is it sometimes not just to network for future business, but to be able to speak to like-minded individuals that are perhaps having the same challenge you're having, or maybe had that same challenge 18 months ago, to realize, it's not just me, I can actually get through this?
Absolutely, because this is what I feel. Every person, every entrepreneur, it's good to have a mentor or a coach, because why would you want to repeat the same mistake somebody has already repeated? If they have the experience, they can guide you. So this whole Startup Circle initiative is about mentorship, coaching. So we have a set of mentors that our clients can directly reach out to, so they can ask. So it's all about asking, so you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. So yeah, it's not just about securing funding, that's one part of things, but you need to know how to, what are the challenges that I, as a business owner, can face, and knowing how to navigate those issues.
And mentors are always so important. I've always used mentors, and then you realize often the more successful someone is, the more they realize the need to give back. As well.
These are very good. They don't do it they do it because they love to do it, because they've learned their lesson and now it's time for them to give back. True.
Well, we're in conversation here with Neha Thomas, the head of marketing at Creative Zone. I think Gordon, where's our roving man? He might be hanging around. Did anyone have any questions about Free Zone, specifically with Creative Zone? Any questions from anyone? It's always a bit nerve-wracking to put your hand up for the first one, so I'll throw in another question. What initiatives have you taken in assisting female investors? Because it's always been a male-dominated field, and what are you working to try and bridge that gap?
We do a lot for females. We had run an initiative called She Leads. It was an accelerator program for female entrepreneurs. The response we got for this initiative was massive. So we got around 3. That's when we realized, okay, there's so much potential out there. We got around 300 business applications, their business plans, everything submitted. We shortlisted around 20 business plans, the best of 20, gave them in 1 week intensive mentoring session, and then we did a pitch day, a demo day, where they actually pitched their business ideas to investors. And one of them actually got, funded, and they got a free trade license. So these are some of the initiatives that we do for women especially. This was done in collaboration with the Dubai Business Women Council, so they're also quite active. So we always partner with them whenever we have any female-centric events. We do a lot of events. We have another flagship event that we do. It's called She Talks. So it's all about she-talking, you know. So it's a good way, again, to network. And, I mean, when it's women to women, they connect better, I feel. So, I mean, we see around 100 people attend these events. So we see that there is a huge or need for such events too.
Is there a tendency for female entrepreneurs to work towards certain businesses when they come and work with you, or is it completely?
No, we're open. So as Creative Zone, that's why we give our clients also the opportunity to come and collaborate with us. We love to promote our businesses. I mean, you know, our client businesses on our channels as well. We feature them. So whoever wants to come forward, we always say yes. We never say no to them. So yeah, we're open.
Any questions for Neha at this stage? We're going to be wrapping things up and then networking and working towards lunch. Looking at Creative Zone now, you know, maybe it's more a question for Lorenzo as the big, but we'll try with you anyway, Neha. You're in the industry of assisting startups. How do you see it evolving? How do you see your role changing with startups in 5 years' time?
Okay, right now we're one of the major players in the UAE. All right, our main focus is to spread that to GCC and eventually globally, right? So we have our footprints now in Qatar and Saudi. We want to expand that, and we do offshore business setup also. So we do like the BVIs, the Seychelles, the Mauritius. So we're not just stuck to UAE right now. So we want to expand ourselves as a global player. So in at least, I wouldn't say 5 years, next 3 years, I would say that Creative Zone is going to be completely global.
And on that, how many businesses that you work with are purely UAE focused, and how many are already have their grand plans of moving into other parts of the GCC?
Within our client list?
Yeah.
Okay, there would be at least like 20% of them have already established their entities in Saudi and Qatar. So whoever's like 5 years plus in the Dubai market, they always see a potential to expand. And that's where we come into the picture again.
As we said, we're in conversation here with Neha Thomas, the head of marketing at Creative Zone, looking at many people as they're doing their due diligence, and highlighting in your experience, but I know you are the head of marketing as well. When businesses are coming to you and touching on that subject of people that, I'm in business, I'm in Dubai, I want to start a business. How hard is it to look at their business model and then realize, it's not going to work? You know, rejection's a part of life, but how do you work with businesses to say, you need to work this, and this, come back and maybe we can help you out?
Yeah, it is a tough conversation, but we don't want to see, no business idea is bad. So if they don't have a proper, the analysis or research done, they should know, I mean, as, Simon Sinek said, like, always start with why. Why is there a need for your business? So we ask the basic questions. If they find it, if they don't have the right answers for those, then we will, we can't straight away say, okay, this is a bad idea, you can't, get started. No. We guide them. So that's why we have our mentors, we put them in touch with them. So it's just about, not thinking straight, but thinking broader. So there are a lot of opportunities. So unless you don't have an open mind, maybe, you're thinking in one direction, but, when you talk to two other people, they give you like 2 different directions too. So it's all about putting the puzzle together. So it's not a bad idea, but the bad idea can be a good idea if you put X, Y, Z together. So we are there to fill that X, Y, Z for you. So that's what we do.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to just kind of use your psychology, because there was a recent Harvard business report that said that 80% of all businesses, 20% is really skill, and the other 80% is your mindset and your attitude and how you work and evolve and do everything. Any more questions, or has Neha answered them all for everyone? That's probably what I'm thinking at this stage. Can we get a round of applause for Neha Thomas, the head of marketing at Creative Zone? Excellent job coming up here by yourself.
Thank you so much.